Good morning, everybody. Mike Wright, Edge Home Finance. We appreciate y'all being here today. I have a tremendous friend that I've known for a long time here today, Rachel Loeslie from Keller Williams Integrity Lakes in Minneapolis.
Correct.
Very nice. Thank you very much for being here
Hey,
as our Realtor of the
appreciate
Week. That's fantastic.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming today, and
My pleasure.
I'm interested to find out more about you. And you've been in the business for
9 years.
9 years?
Yeah, this October.
How about that?
I know, exciting.
This October, like,
Yeah.
here
this
we
year.
are.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we're in November now, but,
Well,
kinda.
that was just a few days ago now. Crazy how fast it goes.
Yes. So how did you get into the business? I mean, you didn't like wake up and say, I want to be a realtor. How did you fall into this?
Well, I was I was at different marketing jobs, at some of the larger companies here in town, and I had been laid off a few times. So I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I've started my own business back in 2009. So that was and then I did other like direct sales businesses.
Yeah.
When I worked in marketing, because it was always important to have something else in case you got laid off again. So I was really just tired of getting laid off, and it just made sense to step into real estate after I've had marketing background and a sales background,
Sure.
working in companies doing B2B sales. And then I had a professional organizing business and feng shui consulting business.
Oh, nice.
So I was already in people's homes, and then I just thought, I can keep doing more, right? So I
Yeah.
got my license, and now I help people sell and buy and feng shui their home, and getting it prepped and ready for sale is very important, and also knowing how to set it up when you move in is very important. And I don't spend a lot of time doing that with people, but I give people pointers here and there, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that the whole, feng shui thing is a interesting concept of itself, but
It is. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, right?
we got to get Jake. We got to get you over there to get that all dialed in there. What do you think, buddy?
I'm lost. What were you
So anyways, did you get in by a friend, or did you just say, I want to do this and I'm going to start at Keller Williams?
Yeah, I had a friend that was working in new construction, and so I sort of had thought that could be a way in, and at the time, it was 2014 or something like that, 2013, 2014. I don't think they were hiring or, whatever, and it just took maybe a couple years for me to get into it once I had the idea.
Yeah.
I did know someone, and I was at a different brokerage actually for my first 2 years in the
Okay.
business. So
Where was that at?
I was at Edina Realty
Okay.
in Wayzata.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Did
I did
you
have a
like
friend
that?
there.
Did you like Edina? I mean, was it a good starting ground?
Yeah, just starting is always good, right? And
Yeah.
I learned a lot of things, obviously. I learned, if I didn't learn, I wouldn't still be here.
Right.
Met a lot of great agents. That's the best thing I took out of it is friendships and the things that I learned from other people. And then I also learned about things for myself, right? Like, what do I need to thrive? What kind of, environment do I want to be in or am I going to or do I stay in real estate? Like, I kind of got to a point where I was like, well, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
Like, how do people do this for so long?
I think that's such a typical deal.
Yeah.
You get to be this time of the year, November, December, January, and we get snow like we had last week, and you're like going, oh God, what in heaven's name am I going to do? But you persevered 9 years in the business. That is a huge win.
Yeah. Well, if you do the right activities, you don't have those peaks and valleys,
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter the time of year. You still have to show up and go to work every day. That's the main thing about this job is showing up, and keeping a schedule. And those are the things I've learned at Keller Williams, like how to run a business, how to own a business, how to be a business owner.
Do you when you do that, because obviously I'm pure commission, flexible as can be, but I'm not great at time blocking. Are you a time blocking person, or do you just know what you're going to do each and every day?
Yeah, it's a great question. I am a time blocking person, and like I said before, keeping a schedule is the ingredient, right? You set
Yeah.
a schedule, and you can easily have distractions or have, things that call on your attention immediately, and you have to train yourself to do the things that are in your schedule, and then create time for, giving customer service and dealing with the things that come up in the day that you hadn't planned for.
So knowing our business can be 24/7, how do you find time? I know you're a golfer. How do you find time to enjoy yourself?
It's well, you put that stuff in your calendar, right?
Yeah.
You put the fun in your calendar or the vacations, and then the work happens all around that.
I like it.
Yeah, and there's days of the week I know that my schedule is going to be less busy for client appointments or things that I have to do for maybe I have an open house or something on the weekend. So a lot of times I go golfing in the weekdays, But you have to have self-care. I mean, I'm a master at self-care and wellness. It's something I've studied a lot, and it's something I've had to learn just because, I've had my brother suddenly died when I was 31. He was in an accident. I know, sorry. But that teaches you, you want to live life to the
Right,
fullest, and you
right.
also want to enjoy life. And,
That's hard to.
that's
It's
just a lesson I learned, but I had to take care of myself and learn how to handle grief. And part of handling grief is how do I fill my days with joy and have balance between life and work.
No, I love that though, because we've had people from 19 years old up to, the Johns Maybes of the world that have been in this business forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like we get overran, including my business, with business. And so it's easy to lose sight of that balance and healthy diets and sleeping and, because my mind races at night. Have you handled that? Like, you get away, you golf, you walk. What else do you like to do on your off times?
Yeah, meditation is key too. I mean, that does quiet the mind, but that also really helps. Like the next day I can focus. I have a higher ability to focus on the very important tasks and be productive. I mean, if you don't take care of yourself, your health is your wealth.
Right.
So if you don't take care of yourself first, right? Even when you go on the airplane, they say, put your mask on. If the plane is doing whatever it's doing, not flying well, that freaks me out. I get scared of flying. But anyway, you have to put your oxygen mask on first.
Right.
So
right,
that's
right.
the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
in everyday life.
Yeah.
And when you do those things, then you focus on the most important tasks and get those done, and then the rest either becomes unnecessary or it takes care of itself.
I love it.
Yeah.
So how do you drum up your business? I mean, are you an open house person? Are you a dialer? Are you a, friend, past client person? How do you develop your business?
Yeah. A lot of it is people I know, right? I worked in a lot of companies, so that has served me well in this job because a lot of my clientele are people that I know from past jobs.
Yeah.
I've also moved to different parts of the metro over. I've lived in the area for more than 20 years in the
Yeah.
Twin Cities. So neighbors, past neighbors, current neighbors. I mean, I meet people pretty easily, but I also do a good job of staying in connection with people.
I think that's an art in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to not only keep all those people in the proper CRM, but to call them and
Yeah,
dial
yeah.
them and not be a salesperson dialing them, but just to touch base and say, how you doing?
Yeah, yeah. Or see them and see them, right? Go to the birthdays, go to the Halloween parties. I mean, I like to socialize,
Yeah.
and I'm an extrovert by nature. But not everyone that does this job is an extrovert, but that happens to be my
A
personality.
talent of yours.
Yeah. But I also, you have times where you have to self-care, so that's the introverted side. We all have parts of us that are introverted and extroverted.
You know,
Anyway.
I'm very similar. I mean, it's out in the world.
Yeah.
it's just great to be out in the world
It
and
is.
talking and,
Yeah.
probably to nauseum for some people, sorry. But,
Yeah.
but all of a sudden you get escape back home and it's
Yeah.
just nice to say, take a deep breath and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
what are you primarily dealing listings, buyers, or any of the above?
Well, I work with both sellers and buyers.
Yep.
I would say my business is probably 60% sellers, 40% buyers.
Yeah.
I usually do have a few more sellers than buyers.
Yeah.
But it depends on the year, I don't know. But that's usually the mix that I've had over the course of my career right now.
You used to be with Be Moved, the Be Moved group, and then now you've got your own branding, which I want to dive into. I
Yeah.
love the name.
Yeah, well, I call my business name is Enlightened Living.
Okay.
Yeah, so I am a solo agent.
Yeah.
And I do have a cast of team members. So I have a personal coach that helps me with business and health and wellness. And then I also have a transaction coordinator. And then, of course, the leadership team at Keller Williams is part of my support system.
Yeah.
So and then I have an accountant. I don't have time to do all my accounting. So yeah, that's my team of people right now. And then I'm also looking for an admin assistant right now to help with systems and models and communication. So
I love that because I think it was Bethany Nelson that talked about her board of directors. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
is her pod of people, team.
yeah, you're supporting cast members, your tribe that helps you thrive, however you want to phrase it, right?
Well, I kind of
Yeah.
like that. You got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good for the clip, Jake. Make sure you get that one. But anyways, so you're developing that. How come you've never? Do you want to build a team, or are you comfortable with yourself?
Oh, I'm really comfortable with myself. Yeah, I mean, I've been on teams 2 times in my 9 years.
Yeah.
And this is my second time being solo. So I don't know. It's just important to have my own brand because that is what makes me different. Just like everyone has something to offer that makes them unique and
Yeah.
special. So, I focus a lot on the, what do you call it? Like a holistic approach to listing and buying your home. I use a lot of spirituality practices. But I'm also very much like, analytical and, looking at pricing and market analysis. So I have a good balance between left brain and right brain thinking.
Yeah.
But all of that, it's like holistic health isn't just one part of your well-being, right? So just like working with buyers and sellers, it's a holistic approach of like, well, why do you want to move? What's your reason and motivation for this? And your intention, right? Intention is key. Knowing what that is, it's like the main ingredient for why do you want to go through all this? What's it going to do for your life? What's it going to give you, and how it's going to make your life better? So the holistic approach is just having faith that the right property will show up, right? And then doing things that, going out and looking for the right property and getting in touch with neighbors in a neighborhood where somebody wants to live. You and I will go door knocking.
Yeah.
We're not afraid to. I mean, not always on a slushy day, but I've been out there on a cold day and a hot day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So looking for homes for people that want to be in a certain neighborhood.
So this fall has been interesting because it's not been the chaotic market where you're getting 30, 40 offers on every place, but with the lack of inventory, how do you handle a client that is constantly running into offers not being accepted? How do you keep them motivated and not depressed?
Oh, so a buyer that's put in offers and
Yeah.
they haven't
Gotten accepted?
Yeah. Well, you have to be creative, right? I mean, that's one of your superpowers, I find, is creativity,
Yeah.
right? And having knowing the market or what would be a way for your client to win, You know, it's like I love football, so I look for, how can I come at this to win and beat, the other competitors, right?
yeah.
So sometimes it depends on, what people can afford, right? Do they have extra cash to bring to the table? You have to look at, can I offer an appraisal gap coverage, or am I going to offer more earnest money? Can I pay, make a bigger down payment? Those are attractive things to sellers, right?
I think the other trait that you brought up earlier is because you've done this as long as you have, it's also about the partnership between seller agent and you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
an adversarial thing. It's how do we work through this?
Yeah. Well, you do have to call an agent and ask what are the important factors in an offer that your seller's looking for. If I didn't do that, I'm not really setting up my buyer for success right away. And then also partnering with a smart, savvy mortgage
See,
banker.
she gets
That
paid to
is
say
key.
this. Yes, I like that.
Well, I'll call you and ask for things like,
Yeah.
what do you think about this, or what have you seen? What can we do with? Because everyone's situation is different. No two buyers are exactly the same, and it's very situational. But having the ability to have creative solutions is pretty key.
And I found with us that the calling from a loan officer's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
evenings, weekends, to a listing agent to promote not only you
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah, that's
pe-
very key.
people don't do it, and it blows me away because how do you accept anything with a sheet of paper, right? I
Yeah.
want them to know who I am
Yeah.
as an important partner of yours
Yeah.
because it helps and it
Well,
wins offers.
the people that do it are you and I. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
we win offers. I do it, and anyone, when we're working together, that's one thing you say you're going to do is call the listing agent
Yeah.
to let them know that this buyer is qualified to get you all the way to the closing table, and we're here to partner with that other agent. for
Well,
a successful
because it's all
transaction.
together,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a seller, listing agent, buyer. I mean, we're all on a team.
Right.
How do we make this smooth so nobody's bummed out?
Yeah, it's win-win situations, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for.
So
Yeah.
tell me about your coach. So you said you have a mentor slash coach, which I'm assuming is also your person at Keller Williams, but
No,
you use
no.
somebody separate, independent.
Right. Yeah. So I've had the first coach I had was in 2006. I think it was 2006. So it was, the year after my brother had died, and I needed help with, like, I wanted to change careers. I didn't know how to deal with grief. I mean,
Yep.
life goes on, and you're
Yes.
like, well, how is my life going to be? How am I going to handle that and do things that I want to do to make, live on purpose? So that was my first coach. And then I had another coach probably from like 2019 to 2021. And these are all, outside. They're like, the first one was a life coach. The other one is a business coach and life coach. I mean, the two go together. How you do life is how you do business, right?
Yeah.
How you show up anywhere, wherever you go, there you are, right? So my coach now is somebody I've known through BNI, which is Business Networking
Yeah.
International.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nancy Claremont Carr with the Joy Effect. That's my coach. So she's the trifecta of coaches. She, like I said, we handle health and wellness, personal, and business. So we do a lot of business planning, and it's kind of like a lot to explain, but I guess that's the best way to say it. Is she's a triple threat.
Is it a weekly, monthly?
It is when you need it, but it's
Oh.
usually like I would say every 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
We meet, and then there's a lot of support in between that.
Well, and you
yeah.
see her every week.
No, not every week.
You're not the
Well,
BNI?
No, we're not in BNI
Okay,
anymore, but
okay.
we met in BNI.
Got it. Love it.
Probably in 2008 or 2009. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you, what networking, I mean, I know you love being social. Do you do networking events, first-time homebuyer stuff, or is it more just like these people and you just parlay them into doing whatever they want to be doing?
Well, I like I said, I had my own business since 2009, so I did a lot of networking
Yeah.
back in the day, and I was in BNI for about 6 years. a part of different women's groups, different entrepreneurial groups. And then I'm also part of like the Feng Shui Institute of the Midwest. So I have like a bunch of Feng Shui friends, and then, more people that are into other holistic wellness groups. So sometimes it just kind of expands from there. I was also
love
part
it.
of the National Association of Professional Organizers. So again, I'm not in those groups, or I'm still in the Feng Shui group, but I'm not a professional organizer anymore. But, just being part of those different associations was how I built my, they call it a sphere of influence, right? Like,
Yeah.
who do you know who's in your circle, and who's moving that's in your circle. So, I still stay in touch with those people, or I'm active in some of those spaces.
So business coaching wise, what pieces have you taken out that you almost consider priceless that you may be able to share with some people on here?
Yeah. One thing I learned was having a weekly money meeting with myself. So it was a way to like track, what money is coming in, because I always knew what was going out, but it was like, really look at what's coming in. I'm like, oh, I made like a lot of money this week.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Or I didn't make a lot of money, but I know what's coming.
Yeah.
So it's just the reminder of like, well, what do I have? What cash is committed, and then what did come in. So that was pretty huge. And then you also just have to track like, not just tracking money, but tracking activity. Tracking, did I set appointments and hold appointments? Did I take any new listings or new buyers this week? And how many, clients do I have under contract? Like pending sales, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that stuff where you write it down and you look at it, or you just mentally?
Well, you can't
Inventory.
mentally inventory that. I mean, you just have to have, like we have a CRM called Command at Keller Williams,
Okay.
so you can track your sales and activity there. I mean, sometimes I write it down because I'm running, I'm a flow person, so I'm out doing things, or I'm making calls, or I'm texting people, or you're sometimes communicating through social media with people.
Yes.
People reveal a lot on there, so you're like, oh, you're having a baby, you're uncoupling from somebody, do you have any real estate need? Your life is changing. So that's one way to just check, you're looking at what they're doing, or you're like, oh, you got a new dog, like, oh, maybe you need a bigger house because you have a lot of pets now. I don't know, right? Whatever it may be. Or they're just like, no, it's not even my dog, it's my nephew's dog. So yeah, you just DM people a lot, talking that way.
And I think that uncoupling, that's kind of an interesting deal. I've never heard that before. Uncoupling.
Really? Oh, okay.
Normally it's divorce, but
Well, what if you're not married? There's a lot of,
Exactly.
I've been coupled up, but I wasn't married. But I'm like, so now I'm uncoupling.
now
and
I'm uncoupling.
Yeah, so I'm like, I was smart enough not to get married at that moment, So
I love
and then,
it.
but yeah, some people have been married before and they don't want to get remarried, but they couple up and then they may uncouple. So yeah, you learned a new thing today. There you go.
I like this. I'm
This is
done after
amazing.
this. I learned something today. But
That's it. We can go home now.
So what is your goals in the next 3 to 5 years? I mean, knowing you've,
Oh my God, 35 years?
No, 3 to 5. No, we're not going that deep.
Wow,
We
okay,
only got a
long
half
time.
hour here. We're not going.
Right now I am interested in doubling my business
Good.
and helping more families and couples or individuals.
Yeah.
Buy, sell, and invest in real estate. It's a great way to invest your money. I mean, homes have been on straight appreciation in the last 11, 12 years.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you can start by, I mean, that's something I would have told my younger self, like, just buy property and get your real estate license, like, after you go to college or when you're in college.
Yeah.
You can do this and have another job while you're developing your real estate business and learning.
Well, and it's
know?
really cool. Jake has introduced me to some amazing people that are 18, 19, 20, 21
Yeah.
that said, the hell with college. I'm
Yeah.
doing this business.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of them have just kicked ass.
Yeah.
Because they're energetic. And I think that one of the things that we have in our world is you can get beaten down and you can get negative and you can get, down. And I think that's where I applaud your lifestyle, because you're grounded, and you're not going to let yourself get beaten down by that stuff.
Well, I've been beaten down. That's why I learned to have these skills to
Yeah.
take care of myself.
Yeah,
I mean, I have. I've been
that's
through,
reality.
Grief and job loss,
Yeah.
and moving to different homes or different places. And I get told no a lot, but I learned as a kid to just keep asking. The answer is going to be yes, or maybe, or not now, later.
But I think that, getting back to Facebook Marketplace, right? You start looking at something, next thing you know, all that keeps popping up is that. Well, if you buy a car or you buy a home,
Yeah.
you're no longer in need of that. And I think that's the same thing with people buying and selling homes, is it may not be right for them right now.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
you stay top of mind with them,
Yeah, yeah.
ultimately you'll be the resource.
Right, and people move, when their life really dictates a move.
Yeah.
When their life changes.
Yeah.
And rates change all the time, but so does life. So I find that that's the most important ingredient, is what is your life, about right now? What do you need? And sometimes you need more space, less space, or you need a totally new climate. That's why you move.
Do you how often do you try to stay in touch with people? I mean, because there's a overbearing part. If you know somebody's going to be selling, you just pepper. But there's also a professional friendship type deal where you want to keep that balanced.
Yeah. I mean, probably quarterly, I guess,
Yeah.
is the least often. But, it's also like being in people's world. Naturally, those conversations happen.
Yeah.
Or, I'm a curious person. I am curious about people. You are too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to know people, and then I ask questions a lot. I was really just thinking about this, yesterday, because I knew we were going to be doing this.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, God, I feel like I ask a lot of questions, but that's just because I just really want to know. It is part of the job to ask questions. So I could even be better at asking questions. That's the thing I practice. I'm like, okay, what are the main questions you need to know when you sit down and have an appointment with someone that says, okay, I want you to come over because I want to buy and sell. So really getting down to what are the main questions I need to ask, so we're not here for 5 hours talking about this. What do you need to know to hire me, or what do I need to know that that you're ready to hire me and move forward.
Now, that's why I love doing these podcasts, because I get to learn so much about you guys in this business, and it's so cool to see how everybody conducts their business.
Yeah.
Some people love to dial. Some people love open houses.
Right.
You
And
love
I
the
do
social
those.
aspect, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you do it all.
Yeah. But the main ingredient is socializing and networking at things that I would find interesting, or, doing. Some people love pickleball, and that's where they meet their people.
Yeah.
And I'm a golfer. I love football and other sports and paddleboarding and things like that. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes you're like, I don't want to meet anyone. I'm on my paddleboard. I just want to paddleboard, I want to learn what the wind is doing right now.
Yeah. Was it hard for you, because you're so kind, was it hard for you to get told no or to F off from people? You know what I mean? I mean, because I think that's a natural part of quote unquote a realtor or mortgage person, where you're calling or you're asking.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course it is. And okay, so I was just listening to this training, Keller Williams training. I don't remember the name of the trainer, but he said today, you got to learn to have the 5-minute funeral, and we've probably all heard about this. But his coach said to him one day, look, if you don't get that listing, or don't get that buyer, or you get fired by a client, like, you're allowed to have a 5-minute funeral. You're allowed to feel sad or mad or upset about it, or bummed, whatever. But like, if you go to a funeral, you don't bring a blanket and stay there for 5 hours.
Right.
You don't bring a pillow and stay overnight at a funeral. So it's like, you get the metaphor, right? So you can have that, but you have to keep going,
Keep fighting.
And there's someone out there that needs you, so you can't just be having a
Pity
5-month
party.
pity party.
Yeah.
Someone else needs to work with you, and you got to get paid. So there's somebody next, right?
And but
Who's next?
that's a skill.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I mean, I've taken it to where you get told no, even doing these podcasts. Call somebody and say, this is all about promoting you and learning about you. Except, no, not interested. Well, I'll call you in 6 months when I am. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
But you just get back on the wagon again and say there's 20,000 whatever realtors.
Someone else will say yes.
Yeah, somebody else will say
Like
yes.
me.
Like you.
Hi, text me yesterday. Okay, let me figure it out.
Yeah, that's great though, because we made it work.
Yeah, we talked about it
It may
anyway.
not have been ideal, timing wise, but it was good. And
You know what? It is the right time. It's always the right time.
I think that we are in for such a cool year next year.
Yeah.
I'm now that we're pre-recording this, let's just call a spade, but the election will be done.
Yeah.
And it is done as of the time that this is
Oh,
being
yeah.
broadcast,
Okay.
a week from
Yeah.
from Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yesterday, but
Yeah.
that's going to change the market, and I think that
As it always does. Right?
It always does.
We've been around this rodeo before.
I mean, it's but we're all going to survive, and I think that that's the key to this thing is how intentional are you with this business, but it all
Yeah.
comes down to consistency, persistence, and being patient, because like you said, it may not be a person's right time now. 9 months from now, they may decouple and be wanting to buy and sell a place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on.
I
it
appreciate
is-
you having me.
Yeah, no, it's
and your
it's-
questions and your inquisitive nature.
Well, it's like I said, I enjoy finding out what makes you tick, and I think that the key is that the people here, we've got 1,000 people in this deal, and it's from people brand new to people that are, the Ryan O'Neills that are experienced as can be, but they still listen and learn from people like yourself. So I appreciate you being on as a Realtor of the Week.
Hey, I love being the realtor of the week, day, month, year, quarter, all of the above.
Just give you a call. Give me a call. So Jake will be putting on there how people can get a hold of you. And I truly believe that it is critical that you reach out to people like Rachel that know through this business and learn from them. Yeah, they're not with EXP or Edina Realty or whatever, but everybody we have on here is willing to be a mentor and to help people
Absolutely.
out.
Yeah,
Right? And
yeah.
that's what I adore about you doing that, because you've helped me. And for all you guys here on Realtor Connect, I appreciate you guys tremendously. Without you, we don't have the show. And please visit us on YouTube, also Instagram, and those are under Realtor of the Week. So invite your friends. Let's grow this baby and keep learning from beautiful people like this. So thank you very much, and thank you, friend.
Thank you.